On this episode 136 of the podcast, I have one thing to talk about. So let's get into it. Ow! Yes, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Luke Who's Talking podcast, where I have one thing to talk about today in this episode. So just a quick cover off the reason why there wasn't an episode the other week. Basically, I didn't have time to record anything for you, and also I had nothing to say. Much like today's episode, I've got nothing to say except one thing, which happened the day of recording. So it is Sunday today, and I have just done a 5K walk and run. Yeah. So here in town today, there's been the running festival on. So there's quite a few events you can do. Hold on, where's my... I've got it here somewhere. Aha, on the back of my number, it says what the events are. So there is a half marathon, a mile. You can run a mile. You can do a 10K or you can do a 5K. So I did the 10K. I did the 5K today. And so I don't run, as listeners of the podcast will know. Running isn't really my sport. I do cycle. And then, of course, also listeners to the podcast will know, a little bit over a year ago, I crashed my bike and broke my hip. Yeah. And, so I would say I'm probably not fully recovered. But anyway, as I don't run, but, trying to run or doing some running after, the hip break, interesting, even though it's been a year later. But hey, look, I did the 5K and I finished for 5K. And I did the 5K, I reckon, at a decent time. But anyway, so it was just a group of us from work signed up. Now, most people did the 10, but I thought, well, I'll do the 5, bit unsure about myself. Actually, two of the boss and one of the other senior staff, they did the half marathon and also the 10K run, which is just ridiculous, in my opinion. So the half marathon was 20 odd Ks, and then of course in the 10K. So they did, 30 odd kilometers of running today, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I did the 5K. There was a few other colleagues that also did the 5K, but they mostly walked it. But I ran it. And I had a strategy. My strategy was run 2, walk 1, and then run the last 2, and then that's be 5. But my strategy went. It went. So I ran 3, and I got to say, as soon as I stopped running, I thought this was a bad idea. Like, it's a bad idea to stop. Like, just my legs felt really kind of like, you sure about this? Don't know. So I ran 3, walked 500 meters, walked half the K, and then ran the last 1.5. So there you go. And just to be honest, like, I hadn't done any training or anything like that either. And I went for a 3-ish, 2.5, 3 or so kilometer run a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, but I managed, my official time was 35 minutes and I think it was 16 seconds. So I was pretty happy. Let me just check. 35:16, I think my time was. 35:16, yes. So that was my time for the run. I think I've just broken my Osmo action. Probably my own fault, that. But my time was 35 minutes and 16 Ks. No, 35 minutes, 16 seconds. So, yeah, And like, pretty happy with that. No training or anything. Just sort of turned up and did it. As sorts. Went out a coffee after. So there you go. And yeah, actually, the guy on the 35-minute, because there was pace setters going around, and they had a flag with a number on it. So if you wanted to run, we'll say, if you wanted to do it in half an hour, you'd follow the 30-minute guy, right? Or vice versa. So yeah, the 35-minute guy passed me just near the end. And I was like, wow, that's okay. So if I didn't walk that, little bit and slow up that little bit, I probably, might have bet the 35 minutes, or I would have either just fallen apart. I don't know. Excuse me. But yeah, no, like pretty good. Like no shortage of breath. Didn't collapse, didn't bonk, really, or anything like that. You see, on Friday, so you're listening to this, sorry, I'm recording this on the day of the run, which is the Sunday. But you see, on the Friday, I went for a bike ride, and I got, like, within 10 Ks of finishing, and I bonked. I was just done, like absolutely ruined. Bonked. But didn't bonk. Got to the end, and I also got, just reaching off, a medal as well on a nice lanyard. So pretty, I don't know, I'd say pretty impressive. But people who did the half marathon got a gold medal or brass or whatever, colour. So yeah, but anyway, all the cameras back on, is it? I don't know. Hey, it is now. No, it's not. Lights are flashing. Anyway, yeah, so I'm pretty happy. I think next year, if I did some training, I reckon I could do it in half an hour, I would suggest. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. Anyway, maybe if I did some training, I could do the 10K. Ooh. I don't know. It's a long way. Anyway, everybody, pretty happy with myself. Pretty happy with myself. Pretty happy with myself. Anyway, everybody, that is it from me. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time, where hopefully I will have something to say, like constructive to good and all that fun stuff. But yes, thank you, everybody. I'll catch you next time. Bye.